Cork have made two late changes to their team, both in the half-back line. Owen Cadigan replaces Noel O'Leary, and Sean Kiley is in for Pádraig Cassan. O'Halloran, Canty and Kerrigan are all back in the Cork team for this one. Pat Gilroy was ruthless with his selection after their heavy beating in Mayo. He's made a total of 7 changes. There's a new midfield pairing with Sean Murray alongside Eamon Fennell, and Michael Darragh Macaulay is pushed to the centre-forward position. Davy Byrne and Craig Diaz are named in the attack. Fintan Gould and Paul Kerrigan brought back into this Cork team, and the combination with Canty, and now it's Aidan Walsh, very prominent, and that's a lovely score. And Cork are off to a flyer here. The perception that Dublin are not great travellers. Saw that against Down, and we saw it against Mayo, and Cork really in the groove already. Here comes Cadigan. Fennell can't challenge him. Cadigan's so strong. Seemed to be caught a little high by Matt Mahan, but no real contact made. Donnacha O'Connor, that is gorgeous. What a fantastic point from Donnacha O'Connor. His first from play, second in total, and Cork really motoring now. 4 points to no score in the 15th minute. They need only a draw to make it into the semi-finals. At the moment, they're setting up to go for maximum points. There's a bit of a breeze out there, and it's helping the home team in the first half. Dublin badly in need of a score. Kevin McMenamin. That's Cotter beside him. McMenamin has to go back to Craig Diaz. Diaz has missed 1 attempt already. Now Diarmuid Connolly. Dublin badly require a score, and they have got their first from Diarmuid Connolly, and that will give them a lift. 3 points back. They had to wait close to 16 minutes for this. But a very important point from Diarmuid Connolly, and they're finally off the mark. Graham Canty, Fintan Gould. Gould launches that in long. Aidan Walsh the target, he went flying after it, and it's in the back of the net. Michael Savage knew nothing about that. Cork have a goal in the 20th minute here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. Aidan Walsh with the most delicate of touches on this. Brilliant sight when he's trying to catch those. He did try and catch it. His fingertips guided it into the top corner of the net past Michael Savage. Gould's ball in, and Cork have a goal. Dublin in real trouble. Sean Kiley. That's for Colm O'Neill. Brilliant take, and now it's Kerrigan. The slip by Cooper, and Paul Kerrigan with a lovely score. That's a great point. Michael Darragh Macaulay. Dublin starting to up it a bit in terms of work rate and intensity. Fintan Gould really sticking at it with Michael Darragh Macaulay. Now Graham Canty, and the crowd getting really into this now. Winning the ball back brilliantly from Michael Darragh Macaulay. Here's Paul Kerrigan, now Aidan Walsh. Colm O'Neill, they're queuing up. They all want a piece of this. O'Neill shoots and scores. That's a wonderful point. You go back to Michael Darragh Macaulay of Dublin, who had the ball, and 2 Cork men surrounded him, won it back, and O'Neill applying the finishing touches to this. Cork have been so dominant in the first half. Kevin Nolan and McMenamin a yard or 2 away from Cotter. Diarmuid Connolly had the chance to shoot, goes back to Brian Cullen. Cullen spots a bit of a gap, he gets away from Pearse O'Neill, and Cullen steadies down and slots that over the bar. So, first point of the second half. They've had a couple of decent attacks already, and a point coming off the second one, and it narrows the gap just that little bit more. His team leading by 5. And that held up in the breeze, which Cork are playing into in the second half. Eamon Fennell. Fennell drilling that. That is one of the points of the day. Much better from Dublin, and much better from Eamon Fennell. Dublin have some support here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. But Cork yet to score in the second half, and Dublin just chipping away at that lead. It's now down to 4. And Dublin with a bit of a spring in their step now. Here's McMenamin again. Cotter giving him far too much space. McMenamin just almost pirouetting on the turf here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. Michael Darragh Macaulay. Brian Cullen looking for options. He has one now with Kevin Nolan. Michael Darragh Macaulay. Macaulay's shot and Macaulay's point. And this lead now down to 2. Dublin totally transformed since the second half started. Cork yet to score. We're 12 minutes in, and now we've a game in our hands. Kissan on the 65-metre line. Owen Cadigan. Graham Canty is free to Pierce O'Neill's right. O'Neill went himself, and he was right to do so. Canty gave him the option and was the decoy. But Pierce O'Neill with a good point for Cork. Goal between them again. Michael Shields. Now Owen Cotter forced into the mistake. They need a goal, Dublin. McMenamin gave them one late in September. Here's Diarmuid Connolly now. Connolly steadies down and has got the point, so back to within 3. There's no panic from Dublin. Dublin far improved in the second half. Cork so dominant in the first 35 minutes. Here comes Pierce O'Neill. Can they put down this mini Dublin revival again? Yes, they can. O'Neill, great score. Popping up at the right time. Just nobody marking him. That's their 4th point of the second half. The difference, a goal again. This has been a really fine performance from Cork. Sure, Dublin outscored them in the second half, but it doesn't matter. Their lead was so great at half-time, and they thoroughly deserved it, and they deserved their place in the league semi-finals. And they've won here against the All-Ireland champions by a goal. Cork won 12, Dublin 12 points.
We started well, and we hadn't been doing that up to this, and but to be fair to Dublin in the second half, they battled, they rallied, and you know, they got in for a few scores. No, we probably always looked that we were a bit comfortable, but at the same time, you know, consistency again is the challenge for us in terms of putting 70 minutes together.
The league has been good for us in that we've got a chance to play everybody really, and you know, a lot of guys have grabbed their chance, you know, and even in difficult matches they've really shown good character, so like, that's a plus out of it for us.
Well, the points and the league semi-final spot goes to Cork, and that's, of course, a wrap on Dublin's league campaign for this year. Kevin McStay, looking back, we'll talk about Cork a little bit later on, but looking back at Dublin's league, 3 wins, 4 losses. So how do we assess them? How would they assess themselves, if you like, sort of post All-Ireland?
Well, you heard one of the positives that Pat said there. They got to see a lot of players on the road. Didn't see them at their best, I felt, actually. I think I saw all their games, or vast majority of them. Their away form killed them. They lost to Down. They lost to Mayo, they lost to Cork again. So on the road, they didn't play, and the one against Mayo was particularly bad. Today was a bit of an improvement. I think they now know that unless they play at a certain tempo, they can't compete. It has to be full on from them. That's probably back to the fact that they don't have fantastic footballers. It's the sum of their parts all the time with Dublin. And they need that high tempo, they need the tackling. But the good news, I suppose, from them is that they found that out very much in this league. They have time to repair it. They need to sort out their discipline. They have time to do that. And they need to improve a little bit on their scoring rates, and they have time to do that. So their eye now is on the championship. They didn't need to win the league this year.
I think the thing is, Mickey Whelan, he was there last year.
Yes.
He's definitely, you know, there's something about it. I think there were a couple of players sent home from training, and that rumours running around and that there. You know, it's a different thing. As you said, the intensity's not there away from home, which is disappointing. It's the second year. You know, they need a knuckle down. So was Pat Gilroy's going to say, boys, let's knuckle down. Let's have a team meeting here. Let's show what we're about. Definitely, you know, they're not the same Dublin we had last year. Maybe the 2 Brogans are a big miss.
Of course they are. Now, let's take a look at the final positions then in the division.